Another Screambox original, this one from Japan, New Religion. So, this is about a woman whose kid dies while on her watch. And we fast forward to 3 years later, and she is now a call girl because she hates herself.
Yeah.
And she then takes on a new client who doesn't want sex, he wants pictures, but not the kind of pictures you would think. Pictures of certain parts of her body, and not the parts of your body you're thinking of, random parts of the body. And then that, you know, you go from there. So this is a very slow burn, very ambiguous, bizarre film that definitely left me questioning, like, what all the hell was that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is definitely going to be an interpretation type of film
Yes.
where you watch it and your friend watches it and you guys talk at the end and both of you have like totally different takes on what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think everyone's going to come away from this going, well, I think we all have the same take here.
No, definitely not.
There's something to do with bugs. I don't know.
Moths.
But there's no like bugs in the film. You'll see if you watch it. Did I like the movie? I don't know. What about you?
I liked it. I did like it.
It's very.
It's
What she's gonna say? Go ahead.
it's super atmospheric, and it reminded me a lot of Lake Mungo in terms of like I was creeped out and
Ambient
uncomfortable. Yes, the entire film. I was very unsettled by everything. And I think that the film looks really beautiful. I quite enjoyed a lot of the shots, and it is really quiet. Like he said, there's this ambient noise that is very prominent in the film. And this just the I think the sound design is one of the strong suits, and the cinematography also really worked for me. The story is very sad.
Yes.
Very sad.
It is.
And
very depressing.
The horror aspect is just
the sadness.
It's the sadness.
Yes.
It's grief,
yeah.
And it's very surreal in that way. And so I did like it, but I'm confused for sure. I think the ending is I'm unsure. I'm a little unsure on I do have an idea of what happened.
Probably different than mine.
But it is a film that I think you need to be into slow burn type of movies. And you need to be paying attention to it. I think if I had walked away or like been on my phone or something, I mean, it is also subtitled, so that's another reason why you should be like really paying attention. But I just felt like that you needed to be really present for the film.
I think where this film is super unique is that we're dealing with grief and we're doing so through a prostitute. But the film is not perverse.
No.
At all. In fact, the methods of the villain in the film are actually rather innocent. Even though there's not innocent consequences to it. There's nothing overtly graphic in the film. The movie, it's unique in the sense that like it's not exploitive. It doesn't have this like overtly sexual nature to it, even though you're dealing with a prostitute who hates herself, so she's like selling her body away because she doesn't feel like she deserves it, or that it's like useless to her now because it's like what's the point of life? I'm not worth anything, right? which is unfortunately what happens to a lot of like people in the porn industry or people who are
Sex
prostitutes,
yeah,
whatever, sex workers. They just don't value themselves. They don't think anything of their bodies, right? Their bodies are not temples to them like some people. But I just, when I saw that this movie was about a call girl, of course, me being me, I was like, oh, we're gonna get a lot of sex and we're gonna get some nudity and all that. There is no nudity. There is no sex. There's nothing of the sort. And I don't. The film doesn't need it. It's not a complaint. It's not a negative. It's not any of that stuff. I'm just saying that the film is unique in the sense of like what it's about, what it's centered around, and how it's presented is so different than any other kind of film I've ever watched like this. This is the kind of movie that would be super perverse, and that would be part of the horror of it. Is like how like impersonal it is, right? That the demeaning, right? Like I thought that's where this movie was going to go.
Yeah.
Right? Because usually when you deal with sexuality and like depression or grief or hatred for yourself, any of that self-loathing, it goes into very, very dark, perverse places.
Yeah.
And there's always a sense of dehumanizing that person through their sexuality and like this domineering presence of bringing them down to like being less than human, subhuman, right? That's usually how these films goes, and that's not this shit at all. It's actually kind of the exact opposite in the end, which is super interesting. But then you get the end and you kind of know it's coming, but I'm not really sure why it's coming.
Yeah, it's I think this film, it felt like depersonalization in a movie to me. I think that's probably why I felt so uncomfortable, is that it just, you're very disconnected, but at the same time I think it's really intimate. It's weird. It's a really weird combination of feelings.
Yeah, it's an unsettling film because of just how depressing everything feels. This movie is so somber in tone. Everything feels dreary, drained of life.
Yeah.
There's so little happiness or even the remotest sense of joy, life. This film feels dead because she feels dead.
Yeah.
We're very much, the style of the film is mirroring how she feels.
Yeah.
And man, it's kind of a drudge to get through in that way. But when she goes to this guy's house who's taking the pictures, which she goes there periodically throughout the film, and that ambient noise kicks in and the red lighting and all of that stuff, and his voice, and
God, it's
the way
so
they interact,
scary.
and the uncomfortable nature of it all, and the tension of like what's going to happen and why is this happening, because there's such confusion while it's happening of like, what is this, what's happening right now, and so you're so uncomfortable with the entire situation because you like ultimately want this girl to recapture some kind of life for herself because she's not a bad person, just had something bad happen. So if you're somebody who's very sensitive to like connecting emotionally with a film and you come out of it feeling the way the film's tone is, if you're like empathetic towards films,
it's a heads up.
You will come out of this depressed out of your mind.
Yeah, it definitely left me in a weird mood, but kind of jumped into filming right away. So I think it's a film that'll stick with me. I mean, also, like I said, I did like it. I did enjoy it. I think it is a very niche film for a certain type of viewer, for sure.
Yeah, I liked it.
So
I liked it. The more we talk about it, I like it.
Yeah. It's slow burn. It's a slow burn film, but it's not a film. We've watched plenty of slow movies that were like nothing happens. Like it's not a Skinamarink, which we
No.
hated. There's stuff going on, and it is interesting.
It reminds me of like Audition or something, although it doesn't have like that insanely graphic, bombastic ending that Audition has. It's just this like eerie, unsettling. Yeah. You don't really know what's going on. Slow burn feel to it.
It also is kind of like the original Japanese, The Pulse. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
For me.
Sort of. Yeah. Pulse is better. Much better.
Pulse is better.
Yeah.
But it has that kind of the eeriness. That is I think definitely what we're trying to say the most. Like it's a really eerie film. It's very off-putting.
Yes, it is very off-putting.
I was really I was physically uncomfortable at times in the film.
Yeah, she asked me to turn it off.
And it's not like a body horror film. It's not something where there's graphic things happening that make me uncomfortable. It was just the atmosphere of everything.
Yeah.
That I was just like, I don't like how I'm feeling. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's on Screambox. If you guys have it, Screambox is cheap as hell. And now that they have an actual app on Apple, if you have an Apple TV, the app on Apple TV actually works great.
Yeah.
We have no issues with it at all.
It's great.
So the one on Roku sucks.
Yes.
The one on Apple is good.
Yeah.
It works just like any other app I ever use. So thank God for that. We just signed up for another 6 months. I just paid $15.
Yeah, it's really affordable too.
It's insanely cheap.
And there's tons of movies, like not just Screambox originals. They have a lot of other
I want to say like
films.
A year is like $22.
Yeah.
It's
super
crazy
affordable.
cheap.
If you're a horror fan, this is another. It's like you just like a lot of people have Shudder. I think Screambox is another.
Shudder's like $5 a month.
Yes,
this
Shudder's more,
that.
but I think this is. I was just gonna say this is another like company that you should support if you're a horror fan, because there's tons of Screambox originals too that are coming out.
Yeah,
it's like
this channel is like, or this app is like, I was doing the math on it recently, and it's like 7 or 8 cents a day.
Wow.
It's super cheap.
Yeah.
It's crazy
it's
cheap.
Worth it.
So anyways, so that's that, guys. Let us know if you watch it.